Hospital Rooms is an arts and mental health charity whose sole focus is working collaboratively and creatively with artists and inpatients in mental health hospitals. We commission professional artists to lead highly imaginative and adventurous workshops, from owl life drawing to creating film animations using 3D scanning. These workshops result in the creation of major installation-based artworks for mental health wards. Over the past 5 years, we've worked with over 100 artists on 19 projects in the most challenging health settings, including forensic units and psychiatric intensive care units. We offer patients and staff creative opportunities on their own terms. So a psychiatric intensive care unit, which we often shorten and call a PICU, is a hospital ward that is dedicated to the short-term management of people in an acutely disturbed phase of a serious mental disorder who cannot be safely managed in a general ward. So kind of the core features of this ward include a high staff-to-patient ratio and a secure physical environment. This can mean that you really can't bring anything in from outside, so everything is kind of assessed as a risk. So there aren't flowers, nothing is glass. There's really restricted of what you can bring onto the ward, and each unit provides care to severely mentally unwell patients who are often under a section of the Mental Health Act and have no access to the arts during this time. We know people who access mental health services are vulnerable to exclusion from almost every aspect of society, including participation in the arts. And this was kind of the key factor that was driving us to do this project and to go into these 3 PICUs across London and work with 18 artists to do workshops and bring artworks to kind of really change that environment and challenge that and bring artwork into all of these spaces. The 3 psychiatric intensive care units that we've been working on for the duration of this project are all across London, and they're Titian Ward, Askew Ward, and Bevan Ward. And I've been spending most of my time over the past couple months at Bevan Ward, which is part of City and Hackney Centre for Mental Health and is in East London, which I guess is particularly special for me because I live in East London as well. And so it's directly serving the community that I interact with every day. And so I've really enjoyed working with the 6 artists on the project to develop workshops specifically tailored for the service users and staff on that ward. And we've come up with some really fun ones. Mark Wallinger, we were doing life drawing, and we were doing drawing cartoon characters with Giles Deacon and putting ourselves in our favorite landscapes with Joy Labinjo. And it's nice to kind of see those little bits and interactions that you get from just having people sitting around a table, sometimes talking about art, a lot of the time not talking about art at all, but getting these nice kind of moments from these interactions and having something that will spark a conversation or maybe a color that was put down on paper that will spark the artist's proposal for their final installation on the ward. So it's not just an artist has come down and put their thoughts on the wall. It's like co-produced kind of every step of the way with the voices of the service users and the staff. A really great example of this is David Locke, who we did a collage workshop. It was the first one that we had ever done at Bevan. And so we were like, oh, we don't know how this will go. But it came in so confident. And we made these beautiful collages with service users and staff. Everyone stayed for the entire workshop. And then David went away and kind of took bits from every part of the collages that were made in the workshop and then made them into a huge wall panel that will now be installed directly on Bevan. So you can see this tiny part of this collage I made, and an artist valued it so much that he put it into his own work and is now this like collective piece of artwork on Bevan that I think is really important to giving kind of staff and service users this sense of ownership over the artwork. The 3 films that we'll be sharing with you now are Making Space, Making Art, and Making Together.